Okay. It is Tuesday, February 11th, 2025. This is a meeting of the Norwalk Conservation Commission and Inland Wetland Agency. Could we have roll call, please?
Ed Pawlenko.
Here.
Paul Bennett.
Here.
Carol Brown.
Here.
Steve Clark.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. Moving on to public participation. We have a bit of an echo.
Mr. Lyons, I'm just going to keep you muted until we have you your item on. It'll just be a second.
If he has two devices going there or what?
So,
okay. Anybody from the public, Alexis, who?
So, if they're so again, with the this is a meeting of the Conservation Commission and the Inland Wetland Agency. As the Inland Wetland Agency, they're reviewing permit applications, and they cannot receive any comments about any pending application during public comments, but public comments can be used to make general comments. So if you want to make a general comment, use the raise your hand feature at this time. And again, this is not for the any public hearing items on the agenda. Think you're all set.
Okay, moving on then to receipt and discussion S25-651 Strathmore Lane condominium.
Right, Mr. Lyons, you should be able to unmute now.
Right.
Right. So I'll just give.
Yeah.
Sorry, do you have two devices open, maybe?
Yeah, you're not coming across. All right. What's your question?
Uh-oh.
Okay. I'll do a quick overview of the application. So Strathmore Lane condominiums are on the Westport to Norwalk line, which does not show up here, but it's approximately where my cursor is moving. Westport is on the right side, and this is our city of Norwalk. Strathmore Lane is off of Kings Highway in Westport, and but the Indian River runs directly adjacent to Strathmore Lane condo. It actually hides condo complex from the pool and a paddle tennis court. The paddle tennis court is within island, and so distracting. It's in such a state of disrepair. You for a minute. The court is in such disrepair that they seek to remove the court. Since the court is within a wetland, it cannot be administratively approved. It is an application that is required for the agency to look at. I'll go to their application materials real quickly, and then I will have Ed Lyons return to add. Sorry, my pages just quit. To add any information that he'd like. And so this is, if you go back to the aerial that I was showing, these are the buildings on that aerial. This is the Indian River, and this map unfortunately doesn't show the wetlands, but it's this whole area here is inland wetlands. I can go back to the wetland report, and so as far as getting to the court was going to be the hardest part of this application. Initially, the condo looked at potentially rebuilding the court, but the hardest part is quickly getting to it. This is a pedestrian walkway. They are going to come in, use the existing parking lot within the condos. There's a dumpster here, and then access it along these walking paths around the pool and then to the court. They are proposing to do some plantings within the 60 by 120 square foot wetland area where the paddle tennis court is currently. They're all native plants. And I'll just go to the wetland map real quickly. It was flagged recently, last year or 2 years ago now. And so she just flagged the area in question, but these are her flags. So this entire area is wetlands, and then obviously it's within the upland review area of the watercourse. And Mr. Lyons, if you want to unmute yourself and add anything, please do.
Yeah, really nothing to add. This court's been in disrepair for 20 plus years, and we're just finally, instead of reconstruct, to yank it out. No one plays paddle tennis anymore in this community, I guess. That's all I have to add.
Okay. Alexis, do we have a need for any sort of erosion control just to keep materials from bouncing away or anything?
I don't think so. So what they're going to do is going to go in and use hand tools to cut it's up on, if you've ever seen a paddle tennis court, they're up on pilings, and they're going to cut those pilings flush to the ground. So the pilings themselves are going to stay so as to minimize disturbance to the site.
Okay. Okay. Any commissioners have questions while we have Mr. Lyons here? Okay, seems pretty simple, I guess, to us. So thank you, Mr. Lyons. We'll hopefully be able to make a decision on this application during our next meeting in a couple of weeks.
As I think I described earlier, they can't make a decision the night that they receive it. They have to wait a minimum of 14 days, and 14 days gets us to their next meeting on the 28th.
Okay, thanks, folks. Alexis, thanks for all your help.
Absolutely. Take care.
Thank you. Good night. Okay, moving
Good
on
night.
to S-25-652, 143 to 145 West Norwalk Road.
All right, so this is a corrective action application. You have seen this somewhat recently at your first January meeting. You upheld an order. Let me pull up a quick map as a refresher. This property is on West Norwalk Road. On the western portion, it is 2 properties under the same ownership, and they were cited for unauthorized site work, including some clearing of vegetation and deposition of materials, primarily an area that was used to park some vehicles. So there was some material deposited and compacted, and most of the work is taking place on the lot closer to the street on 145 West Norwalk Road, but there was some site work just into the front of 143. Both lots do have existing limits of lawn. 143 was permitted a limit of disturbance or a limit of lawn under an older wetland permit, and then 145 West Norwalk Road also just has a historical limit of lawn. I think the wetland line does extend into where the limit of lawn is, but the main area of work is here where I'm circling with my mouse, and you can see too in the aerial imagery from March of last year, roughly where the disturbance was. So the applicant enlisted Kate Throckmorton of Environmental Land Solutions to prepare a corrective action plan, which was submitted to us last week. So if you'd like to walk us through that, Kate.
Sure. Thank you, Amelia. Good evening, everyone.
Okay,
Okay, is my screen up there? There we go.
Yep.
Okay, good evening, everyone. For the record, Kate Throckmorton, licensed landscape architect with Environmental Land Solutions. I think Amelia did a good job at introducing. I was just gonna kind of provide a little bit more location on this map that shows where the two lots are on the west side of West Norwalk Road, just north of West Cedar. And as she said, we were retained to provide we were retained to provide the application and plan to remediate the situation. We went out several times to the site and we met with staff to help clarify the past history, and we did get the original proposed house activity permit, and we did get an updated as-built. So West Norwalk Road is on the right-hand side. These are two lots under similar ownership, with same ownership. The front house is a well-established house. It's been here, I think, originally since the 1800s, and it has historically had wetlands lawn, and that's been recognized and kind of acknowledged. But the rear lot was developed in 2012. At the time, both of these lots had similar ownership, and then they ran into some issues. The one person, the current owner, still owns both lots. So they have kind of a somewhat shared activity area, I think, that came into the focus of the staff. So this rear lot has a back driveway that runs along here. The property line runs about here. The wetlands, it runs through kind of a gentle swale that grows through these two properties. There's an intermittent water course that runs just behind the older home. The focus of the application was some debris, kind of just, I wouldn't say filling. It's really, it was landscape debris that it includes leaves. I think it was composed of blowing the leaves off the lawn, then some deposition of large limbs, and then some deposition of wood chips, which occupy this area. This area actually wasn't cleared. It's really just piled in the woods. It's several feet deep, but I think it can all be easily hand removed. There's also a second area, which I identified here, kind of smaller, but I think that it needs to have, needs attention to kind of take it out. There's only about a 1 foot area of wood chips that have been deposited here, but I think that this needs to be comprehensively taken care of. And then the third area, which I'm addressing, which wasn't necessarily cited in the violation, but this has historically been an open lawn area between these two sites. And I think with the delineation and the replanting that I'm proposing, I think that that should come in kind of to help both properties realize where their active and passive areas need to be maintained.
Kate, could you zoom in just a tick, please?
Yeah, I'm sorry?
Could you zoom in just a little bit, please?
You bet.
Couple clicks. Couple three, maybe. Yeah, there you go. Nice. Thank you.
Sure.
Just a bit small.
There we go. Also, over the years, this back property has had several visits from the staff for minor activities that were okayed in 2000, I believe, 17, which allowed us a very minor expansion of the lawn, which was within the original approved limit, which is actually back here. This lot was approved when there was a 50-foot upland review area. I've actually got the 100-foot review area, which this is dash line, but I've also included the 50-foot line, which I know isn't necessarily, the regulations today, but it was the limit of regulatory area when the lot was approved. The aerials from the staff also show that this area where the vegetable garden is and kind of the access way and immediate lawn area has been developed for over 10 years. And so part of the application, I would like to kind of make the things that are legitimate, recognized and kind of blessed by the commission. In speaking with the staff, that was suggested as a good approach. So as part of the application, not only are we kind of correcting and pulling back the activity in here, but we're trying to legitimize and allow this vegetable garden to stay. There's some fruit trees around here, clearly well established over 10 years. There's also a wood storage area, kind of splitting an activity area here that we're going to ask to stay. So again, there's also a vehicle access way here. This was cleared, and that is going to be abandoned. So there's 4 really mitigation action areas. 1 is the removal of the debris in the woods. 2 is the removal of the wood chip area. 3 is the replanting of this area, which is kind of voluntary and includes some minor activity in the wetlands themselves, but it's really to enhance and replant. And then 4th, an abandonment of this vehicle area. The area will be demarcated with boulders and replanted. A couple other things. Also, this patio is new, so I want recognition that that can stay. Let's see, I think that was this area around the vegetable garden right now is because they've been bringing wood in and out of this wood storage area, has gotten exposed and a little rutted. So that's going to be restored as well. We're going to work to keep the trucks out of there and just allow that to be a passive recreation area. So that's it in a nutshell. That's kind of a brief introduction. So I'd be happy to go into any more details. All the plants are native. There's no evidence of actually soil deposition, so I don't think there's any need for erosion controls. The material can be taken out by hand, verified by myself and staff to make sure that they're down at mineral soil levels. Then I'm proposing that the area just be allowed to have 2 to 3 inches of leaf litter to remain so that the plants that are there can continue to thrive. So there may have been some temporary impacts of suppression of vegetation, but I think it's temporary. And once these areas, the material and debris is removed, there should be no long-term impacts to these areas. And be happy to take any questions.
Thanks, Kate. Commissioner Knight?
Hi, I just have 2 questions that just to help me understand a little bit better. Could you just give us a little bit more detail on the vegetable garden? Is it in the ground? Is it raised beds? Is it irrigated? Kind of what kind of activity? And then just there's the existing wood pile and the common wood pile. Are there 2 wood piles or are they merging them into one wood storage?
Okay, I'll be a little more.
It's just like details. If you could.
Yep. No, I wanted to give you the broad view and I'd be happy to go into any details. So the vegetable garden is a 40 by 40 area. It's in ground, fenced, no irrigation. And like I said, it's been there for over 10 years. So we're asking for that to stay. The wood storage area, this is actually a stacking of wood. Actually, it's very organized and actually provides a great delineation for the lawn. This area is kind of like the activity area where wood is brought in and split and then brought over to this area to be stacked and used. So this is a little more disorganized area, but there isn't any soil disturbance, but that's also kind of been the source of some of the debris that's gotten into the woods. So I'm asking for that to be organized, but allowed to remain.
Okay,
No, just to add
Um,
that the vegetable garden, it was part of the garden area. It's been there since at least before 2003, actually. So it was there when the subdivision happened and the house in the rear was constructed.
Yeah, I was mostly curious about the irrigation because that obviously has an impact.
okay. Other commissioner questions? I think this one seems pretty cut and dry as well. I don't have any reservations, speaking for myself. So if no one else does, I would ask Alexis or Amelia to draft a resolution for us to consider at our next meeting. Okey-dokey. Nobody else has anything? Then we'll move on, I guess. Thank you, Kate.
Okay, thank you very much.
Good night.
Night.
Moving on to S 24-645 36 Range Road. And correct me, it says discussion and or decision. We still have time to discuss, but public
Right,
hearing
so
is
once
closed.
a
right?
public hearing ends, you have 65 days to render a decision.
All right.
My memory serves me correctly, so the public hearing on this application closed at your last meeting. So again, whatever decision you make, it needs to be based on the basis of the record, and the record started upon the submission of the application and its receipt by the agency, and the testimony received before and during the public hearing. So I did provide you a staff memo with a draft resolution. I know you had a kind of a brief discussion at the end of your last meeting, and I tried to incorporate parts of that, but as any application that you're considering, you can add conditions, modifications, or limitations as long as you connect those to the reduction of wetland impacts.
Okay, I'm sorry, Catherine?
Yeah, I just wanted to point out, like, I would be comfortable with the resolution if there were a few things that I'd like to change or modify or to add in. Because there's just a number of activities that if this was coming to us straight with a permitting application rather than after the fact, I think there would have been some debates around, the only thing that's really changed is a little bit of the gravel area has been, or the chair area, and obviously the turf from the wetland and the fill is going to be taken out, and that's going to be restored. But I just have a question about, ongoing enforcement issues when you have a tree house that's kind of straddling into the wetlands, and then, there's going to be encouraging activity, maintenance, etc. That if we were to see from straight out, like a permit application, say, hey, we want to build this in the wetland, I'm not quite sure that that would be something that would be approved. So I would be more comfortable with saying that that would go out, because I don't see that if having a view before the activity, that would be something that I would say, yes, go for it, build a tree house. I don't think that sets a good precedent for what we do. And I think it has a negative impact. The other thing is just, we haven't we didn't get the opportunity because this is an enforcement action to really, and I think we tried, or at least I tried with the applicant to say, you know, I don't see how the feasible alternatives for the area where you want to put turf because you need to recreate on that small space, that's the best alternative in terms of meeting your goals as well as having less environmental impact on the wetland. I didn't see evidence that that's the only, that, you know, that's the best alternative, that grass and lawn isn't an alternative for being able to recreate on a space. I mean, I haven't seen any data ever that lawn's not appropriate for recreating. So that would be, and then the gravel pushback. I think the other thing is just, you know, it wasn't clear as to what's the irrigation in the lower bed if you have non-native plants. So I think making sure that, you know, that those are native, it's not going to be irrigated because it really abuts on the wetland, which would have an impact, and that you don't wind up putting down mulch, which obviously would increase sedimentation into the wetland. So those were kind of my proposed modifications.
Well, hold on, though, are those modifications or are they reservations? So, for example, if they're modifications, then what we need to do is get the draft resolution here up on the screen and start changing stuff. Or are you saying, because we're not.
I mean,
can't change
those
at
are my things for what I, you know, for me to approve what the activities or that I would be comfortable with, because I'm just looking at like congruency of other applications that we have in front of us, and you know, if I think of it as a clean sheet, like these would be discussions that we would be having.
All right, so are you saying that we can direct them, we will, you know, approve a resolution that directs them to remove the treehouse?
Alexis, could you guide us on the process?
Yeah, so you could, I'd say that that's certainly consistent with some other applications that you've seen on both like Maywood Drive in West Norwalk and Holiday Drive on the other side of Norwalk, where you've had proposed zip lines, tree houses, and other play elements in wetlands and watercourses that you had removed. So that's very legitimate. I'd say that maybe special condition number 6. I'll just share my screen.
There you go. Thank you. No structures, including any footings for the treehouse, may remain within the wetland.
Right.
6.5. You want me to share my screen?
Oh, here we
Okay.
go. There it goes. Let me just make it viewer friendly. So potential special condition number 6 that so yeah, you could just say no structures, including the treehouse or any footings for the treehouse, may remain within the wetland and wetland buffer. Is that?
And it's because the treehouse straddles the line, right? Of the
Yeah,
wetland?
it does, yes. So the small portion, the majority of the tree itself. Let me just stop sharing and let's look at this site plan real quickly.
Cheryl, jump in real quick.
I just recommend not removing the actual footings because the footings are literally in the wetland. We should cut them down if it's going to be removed versus disturbing the soil.
Okay.
Yeah, I
So
just
this
don't
is-
want to wind up being, you know, creating, well, things can get approved if you don't ask for permission. Versus, you know, I don't think it's a good position to be
Do we
in.
know how long the treehouse has been there? Has it been added during the tenure of this owner?
Yes, it was added. Let me go to the um, let me go to the aerial photos from, hold on a second. Just want to stay consistent with what you'd seen before. So let me just pull up the aerial photos. Sorry, my computer is sluggish tonight. Okay, so these are the aerial photos that we looked at during the hearing. So it was not there in 2019. 2019. It was not there in 2020. Looks like in 2021 it was installed. So kind of in the middle of the activities.
Okay, so then, no structures, including any footings for the treehouse, may remain within the wetland. So I think that was written to avoid the possibility of saying, well, technically, it's only the footings that are within the wetland. Is that
Yeah, right.
what you were thinking? Okay. All right. So does that check your box, Catherine?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to be consistent.
And so for number 6, sub paragraph 5, is Cheryl, you, so do you, we'll start with the end of the sentence. It should, right now it says, no structures may remain within the wetland. You would like to add the word and wetland buffer?
I'm sorry, were you asking me?
Oh, anyone.
Oh.
I guess, Catherine.
I mean, I think because it straddles it, I mean, in terms of like maintenance or going in, I mean, it, you know, we're just, I don't know. I mean,
Okay.
seems,
And then Cheryl had been concerned about removing the footings. And so no structures, including the treehouse, may remain within the wetland and I should say proposed wetland buffer. Does that work?
Yeah, I
Upland
think
review area?
you could say footings to be cut flush or something.
Okay.
Posts to be cut flush.
Okay.
So that we don't encourage anybody to start digging down into the ground to remove it.
Well, they're going to be removing some stuff anyway.
Yeah,
because
they're
there
going to
was,
be.
you know, but well, that could be a game day call. We can say no, and then if they want to, if it makes sense to yank them, Alexis can give us the option to give feedback on that.
Sure.
just on number 3, are you saying that they would have permission to mow the material
Yes, so
wetland?
on the site plan, it calls for the planting of shrubs kind of on the upper and lower side of the wetland, and then it has a 4-foot wide meadow. And I think that was intended so that they could get down to the previous bamboo area to continue maintenance. And on the plan, it says that the meadow can be mowed once per year, preferably in the fall or winter. And so I was just reiterating that note within the conditions that it is not only may it be mowed once per year, it can't be mowed more than once per year.
Okay. Did we get anything in there about the, oh yeah, number 8 is the 2 man-side boulders shall be moved from the row of boulders along the watercourse limit to the upper limit of wetland buffer immediately downhill of the proposed metal edging as wetland buffer demarcation marker. Cool. What about in the planting bed? What's the deal with the in number 6, the Leucothea axillaris?
So it's not technically a native to Connecticut shrub. Maybe Cheryl can opine, but its native range, I think, is as far north as like Southern Virginia. It certainly does grow around here. It maybe doesn't quite thrive.
And it's in the planting plan right now, and that's why we're
It is
calling it out as an allowable exception.
right. I'm assuming that it was, so right now 12 of the total shrubs are proposed to be that species. So this would just reduce the have a higher ratio of native to Connecticut shrubs. I'm presuming that the applicant, likes the looks of those. There are evergreen leaves that stay on year round generally if they don't get too cold.
Okay, so number 7, the buffer limit line in the center of the property shall be amended to include the lower planting bed. Planting bed shall be enhanced with additional plantings of 6 native Connecticut shrubs. Existing plantings may remain, however, no additional mulch added. Okay. And what's in there
Right.
now? What was it? Something really common. Doesn't matter.
Oh, what are the plants now?
Yeah.
I don't recall. It's in
Aren't there
the
hydrangeas? No?
probably.
Yeah, it's hydrangeas and nepeta. Catmint,
Okay.
not sure what else.
All right. Hey, up
And
in
then
number, sorry.
Yep, and then I was just gonna go down to number 9, which just kind of clarifies that the wetland and the established buffer have to be kind of establish a natural vegetated state, that they're not to be manicured or kind of a landscaped garden, but a natural area.
Do we need to just, because we're saying you could mow once a year in the wetland, the meadow that's in the wetland, should we not put something in about what they do with the material? Like, I don't, if you have them just cutting down a lot of grasses and shrubs, like mowing the whole thing down, where's all the organic material going?
I mean, if you want to, I don't think we're probably getting close to the limits of like what we can confirm like and enforce, but I mean typically when you have a meadow it's pretty tall, so you often can't go in if you're mowing once a month, once annually. That vegetation is generally higher than your standard push mower, so you're usually talking about a good old scythe in the old days, or a weed whacker. And it would typically just kind of fall and stay there. And I'd say that that's probably a good, the plan recommends fall or winter, and that's because it allows the plants that are there to self-seed. So I don't know if I would have them rake it out or clean it necessarily. I think a minimum action is probably for the best, if that makes sense. I mean, you can certainly clarify that no clippings can be deposited in the water course. I don't see
I don't know if
them
that's a concern.
having like an interest in
Yeah.
doing that, you know.
Yeah. Hey, could you go to number 3, please, Alexis? A revised site plan, maybe? Shall be submitted?
Revised site. Yes.
And then same for the second sentence, revised site plan shall reflect.
That was consistent.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, I bet. Oh, there's a lot here. Okay. Does anybody else have any adjustments that they would like to make to the draft resolution? Would anyone like to move to approve the draft resolution as amended? Okay, I will then, since everyone's feeling sheepish. Is that good enough for you, Alexis? Can I ask for a second?
I'll second.
Paul's got a second. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I,
Aye.
All right. And then Ed, what were you? Aye or your aye? Okay. Grand. Okay, easy enough. Thank you. We still have a few minutes until public hearings, so I'm going to move to amend the agenda to skip forward to acceptance of minutes
I'll second that.
for the January. Oh, thank you. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
The discussion, I assume. Great. Okay, so there's a January 21st special meeting and a January 28th meeting. Anybody? Heather's not here. Cheryl?
Well, I'll move to accept both meeting minutes.
Okay. Second?
I'll second it.
Okay. Oh, wait, do we have to vote separately in case someone wants to not vote on one of them? Let's do one at a
Sorry.
time.
All right, it's
So-
January 21st, 2025.
Cheryl moved, Paul
Yeah.
seconds, all in favor? Aye.
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 Sweet. Unanimous.
January 28th, 2025 meeting minutes.
I'll second.
Oh.
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 Just jumped.
Do you want to?
You can third if you want. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And one abstention there, Alexis. Conservation initiatives? Anybody feeling especially excited or concerned about anything in particular?
I'm gonna be away, so I won't be able. I thought the conference sounded really interesting. I saw the email for the annual. I've gone a few years back, and it was worthwhile. But unfortunately, I'm not here.
When did you send that, Alexis?
Which one are you talking about, the law department, the law one, the Connecticut Bar?
The
Cause, okay.
cause, yeah,
Was.
cause.
The Connecticut
You're
Association.
joining with New Jersey. Yeah.
Yeah, was. That's right. There is the was meeting on
March 5th.
of March.
Yeah.
If anyone is interested in going, we can look into seeing if we have the funds to have you go. Amelia and I will be attending.
What day did you send that?
Don't remember. I'll send it right now.
It's about time I probably go to one of these.
It was
things.
this morning she sent it. Or maybe I got it directly from them.
You might have gotten it from them. I don't know if I sent.
I did.
Because
Yeah, I got it from ctwetlands.org. Maybe because I went and I got on their mailing list.
Yes. Because I usually send you guys the khaki wick.
That rings a bell.
Yeah.
I mean, like khaki
Yeah.
with blue.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a good conference.
Um,
No.
well, find that and send it to the group.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else have anything they want to throw out there? All right. Reports from the commission chair. I have none. How about the senior environmental officer? None. Okay. Well then we can, what do we usually do? Recess?
We can do a recess. Yes.
It's a bit cold outside for recess. Paul's got a wicked arm. He could probably throw a snowball pretty hard.
Hmm,
It's teasing. You got lots of snow up there, Vermont?
we came back today to have to clear out 8 inches. So got the electric snow thrower out there and made quick work.
All right, Alexis, you want to pause the
So,
recording?
yeah,
or-
I'm going to, if you want to all mute yourself and go off camera until 7, I'm gonna put up a, notice that you are, in a recess until 7.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, 7 o'clock. Recess is over. Good evening, Mr. Carey.
Good evening.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Not bad.
All right. So, we are, I guess, going to reopen public hearing for number S 24-648, which is the corrective action clearing in and adjacent to a wetland watercourse. You had opened this public hearing previously at your January 20 second Tuesday of January meeting. Goodness gracious. January 28th meeting, and determined that it should stay open to make sure that you have all the information that you need to move forward with the decision. So one of the questions that came up during the public hearing was whether the stumps that were present when staff issued the order, whether they were removed. And so I did go out to the site on January 30th and did confirm that the stumps are still there. So that I did upload some new site photos to the pending application webpage. So hopefully all of you had a chance to see that, and I can share my screen real quickly if you would like.
Please.
Focus my interest. So this was what it looked like on January 30th. This is looking back towards New Canaan Avenue, and the entrance is in the back here. New Canaan is off the screen, but off to the right. And then the yard is to the left here. Here are the stumps. This looks the same. This is the wetland area. This is a pink flag here and here. So this part down here is wetlands. This is what it looked like minus the snow when I initially took enforcement action. This is looking north, so standing in approximately this same location as the previous photo, where now my back is to the wetland. And again, here are the stumps. This is the stone wall that is shown on the site plans. And then this is the limit of the active yard and the cell tower. Just another photo. So again, the wetland limit flag is here. And this was some of the area that was disturbed. And then this is some of the area where there would be restoration as well. I think that's it for photos.
And can I just go back to the beginning and ask why again was all this cleared?
There was some confusion about approvals. They thought they had approval to put in a berm, sound acoustical berm, but there was some misdirection on that, is my
Burn.
understanding.
Got it, right. Okay. Okay, what other new information are we taking in?
That's it. So just to review, this was previously received. This is so it's this area only that is the subject of current discussion here. So this is the active yard area. And what's being proposed is a replanting of this area with these plants here as depicted with this inset.
With what being in the plan for acoustic control at this point?
Sorry?
What is in the plan for acoustic control at this point? Anything?
Oh, so this is just for the replanting. So there are two separate applications. There is
Right.
one for the clearing, and then the second application, which is second on the agenda, is for the modification of the 2016 permit, which allows the establishment of the contractor's yard.
Right. Okay. So just about the replanting, I don't know that I have any additional questions or could expect any more plants proposed for that area. I mean, obviously we can't undo removal of all those trees. Does anybody else have thoughts?
No.
I know there was some requests for more evergreens. Switching out some of the trees for evergreens. Native evergreens.
Brian?
Yeah, we were gonna do that based on a field change, in working with Alexis. I mean, it'd probably be this line. We did talk about doing, some arborvitaes, which isn't a problem.
Okay. And that'll have to be reflected verbally in the memorandum. Is that right?
So
Alexis?
you guys could make that a specific condition and I will submit revised plans.
Well,
After, so it would be.
after we approve it.
Yes, that's correct.
Got it. Okay. That works for me. Okay. Any other commissioner thoughts, Alexis?
No, so I believe that those were the only two reasons why you held the public hearing open. It's up to you if you want to kind of just do there is no new information to comment on from the public, so I don't know if there's any reason to open up public comment for this application.
And okay. All right. Oh wait, no reason to keep a public hearing open.
To either have public comment tonight. So typically you have public comment on the presented application, and sometimes you have the public hearing remain open so that the applicant can specifically revise the plans, and then you want the public to always have a chance to review those.
And nobody's here tonight to speak about this.
No, there are people. I'm asking you, Chair, if you want to open public comment.
Yes.
Up again. Okay.
Yes, please.
So
all right.
And this is specifically about the planting on the north side of the lot to replace the trees that were taken down due to the confusion about building the berm and clearing that area. This is not about expansion of the contractor yard, which we're going to talk about next.
Right. And so if that's the case, Mr. Carey, do you want to say anything?
I have nothing else to put forward into the record. I just, if there's any questions that are posed by the public, I just would like to be able to rebut those as closing remarks prior to the closing of the public hearing.
Understood. So if any member of the public would like to make comments on this application, you can use the raise your hand feature And I will allow you to talk. So first we have Mr. Peter Wilson.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Great, thanks. 3 quick points. Thanks for letting me in. Alexis, first of all, sorry to have sent you on that goose chase looking for stumps. The pictures I had were from above and the stumps didn't show up in the left-hand side toward the west side. Used to have stumps and those are gone, but those must have been gone before the initial review. So my apologies for sending you on a goose chase there.
No worries.
And then in terms of the belief that they had permission to go into that area and build an acoustical wall, I just want to publicly take exception to that. They were told at one of your meetings a while back, you all had a very cool reception to the concept and wanted them back to submit that idea in the future. And I think that's the end of it, other than one quick question, which is last time there was the proposal had the arborvitaes or some type of wetland friendly evergreen actually placed on the plan. Is it going to be different than that now? It'll be somehow a verbal decision as opposed to a plan decision?
So what we're saying is that if the public hearing closes and the commission ultimately makes the decision to approve this corrective action application, they would approve it with the condition that the final plan be amended and approved by staff, and it has to include a certain density of evergreen trees in addition to the plants on the plan that they've seen.
Thanks, that's super clear. I just didn't understand how the
Yeah.
evergreens might make their way into it. And that's the very thing that will shield us from high visibility, which we're dealing with right now. So thanks.
Okay, thanks for your comments.
Right, and then would anyone else like to speak? Just raise your hand. Last chance. All right, I think that's it.
Okay. Well, then I would move to close the public hearing for S24-648 unless anyone objects. No? Okay. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
I'm sorry.
Any discussion on that? All in favor?
Hi.
Unanimous. Okay, so public hearing is closed on that portion of this site's applications. So Alexis, can we move on then to 499B?
Yes.
Okay,
So we'll reopen the public hearing for S16-499B, which is the corrective action permit modification to expand the extent and make alterations to the previously approved contractor's yard.
and we have no new documentation on this?
So no, again, from staff, I can go through these again. When I was out there on the 30th of January, I took additional site photos around the back portion of these. I can go through that real quickly. And then as requested, I did post both the permits and the approved site plans from 2016 and from the 2018 permit modification. And those are both on your pending website, pending application web page. Would you like me to go through those photos real quick too? Or?
Yeah, why don't you show us the new photos, if that's okay?
All right.
Just to keep everybody on the same page.
I'm just going to scroll down to, due to formatting errors. This is just a map showing where these photos were taken. So again, the cleared area that you had been previously talking about is up here. This is currently the proposed future expansion of the yard in this double line. The single line that I have then shaded yellow is the existing yard extent today that includes this area, which is the expanded area without permits. This line that says limit of disturbance is the previously approved extent of the yard. And I'll scroll back up for the photographs, but I'm basically taking photographs from starting roughly in the gas pipeline right of way or easement area, looking west towards the rear of the yard. Then I'm moving closer to the yard and looking kind of south-ish, and then finally head to the southern portions of the yard within the wetland, looking back up towards the yard.
And actually, can you real quick, can you go back to that one, Alexis? The
Mhm.
dashed line that sort of cuts through number 2 and number 3, that
That
is the
is-
50-foot setback from the
That
wetland?
is the 50-foot upland review area, correct?
Okay.
Right. So at the time that the yard was expanded, your upland review area was 50 feet.
Yeah.
It is now 100 feet.
Right. And so so the limit of disturbance line actually gets kind of close to, yeah, exactly.
Yes, and so, yep. This is just kind of for photos, but we can go back to the site plan to review that if you like. So I'll start with this one since it's here. This is photo number 5, and so it corresponds with this number 5 here. So this is a wetland flag. So I'm standing in the wetland and looking back towards the yard. This is the expanded yard area here. For reference, this very straight tree is the cell tower that's in this area here. And then I'll just go down to 6. So this is the same area, but just getting closer. So this is the concrete block. This is, again, an area that was expanded beyond the approved yard. And then material here, which is also here. And then I'll go back up to, sorry, kind of the same pile, but just from the different direction. Again, this is a wetland flag here, looking towards the back of the pile. And this is standing pretty close to the gas easement line. This is a 50-foot marker from the wetland. So the wetland flag is somewhere in the back there, 50 feet away, and then you would, yeah. So it just kind of gives you kind of my intent was the character of the woodland for the area where the proposed expansion is included.
Thank you. And could you actually, just so we understand, could you pull up the 2016? It was the basin, right? That we allowed to get the retention basin? Oh, that was previously permitted.
Yes. So this is
Okay.
the 2016 approved plan. Oops. So again, the front half has pretty much stayed the same. Existing masonry building, existing garage, entrance in. This is the bridge over Silvermine Brook. And this is the initial extent of the yard, with a series of 2 water quality basins were proposed to manage stormwater on the site. A large one in this location here, and as you noted, this is where it's relatively close to the wetland. This is kind of what you saw in that cutout of the
And
photos.
what we're not seeing is the 50-foot upland review area demarcation.
It is not shown, it's shown in portions here. So this is the 50-foot upland review area line here.
Mhm.
But you're right, it's not shown on these.
Okay.
And again, so
Noted.
it's the 50-foot is here. But you know, I think that they were not expecting activity back here.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
So, and then there initially was a water quality basin proposed in what I'd call kind of the office side of the watercourse. And then I'll go to the 2018.
Can you go back to the 2016 before you go to
Yep.
2018? I just want to understand on that plan what was done and what wasn't done, because there are portions that were, but I don't see where the plantings that were proposed were done, or where the catchment basins put in.
So these two basins were never put in. And then these were planted. You can see them in an aerial photo, as well as these. I think those are right. So the plants were completed. They are no longer there, but they were there briefly. And then the stormwater was not there as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of I mean, there's a lot of silting and sedimentation that's happened behind an overflow that I've seen in the pictures. Is that a fair characterization behind the concrete kind of divider blocks of the materials kind of over seeping through? And it's a bit concerning the fact that there were plans where I think some of the approval was predicated on filtration of the runoff and the water to preserve the wetlands. And that doesn't seem like those mitigation, like important things were implemented.
Well,
But-
do we have to keep the violation separate from the application, right?
Yeah, I'm just flagging. I don't know, Lex.
So yes, Catherine, I mean, what you said, right. This is what was approved. Absolutely. And then, so the applicant, the respondent was charged with filing for a corrective action application to deal with the activities that were done in violation of both this initial permit and that includes the not doing the stormwater management, best management practices that are required, and the expansion of the yard.
Catherine, you still have your hand up? Did you have more to add? So Alexis, I think the big thing that is still dangling out there for me is that I don't actually think anyone has commented on. I don't think anyone has any doubts about the fact that the 2016 violations to the 2016 permit need to be resolved. I don't think there's any argument there, but I'm just speaking for myself here. And the expansion of the yard, I don't think anyone has said professionally one way or another what the effects are on, what the potential effects are to the adjacent wetland, or has Brian?
And I think that, so I was just trying to give an update as far as what's been posted on the website. And, then I would give the applicant's representative an opportunity to talk.
Oh, fine.
So again, Brian Carey, professional wetland scientist, director of environmental services with Land Tech in Westport. We are representing AJ Penna on this application. I was going to come to the meeting tonight to ask for a continuance. We have been discussing coming up with a resolution that works with the neighbors through their attorney. We also are responding to comments that we did get from the town engineer regarding the switch from the detention basin to an underground stormwater system. I should have that information early next week after I talk to my client to be able to submit that into the record. We are still trying to work with the neighbors to come up with something that benefits both parties. We did just receive comments from them yesterday, so we are reviewing those, and hopefully we can come to some agreement that benefits them, but also is compliant with the wetland law. We do understand that we do have to comply with not only the June 16th, but really the 2016 permit approval, but there was actually an updated approval from 2018 that allowed us to convert that one basin on the west side of the property, kind of in the central part of the property, to put that to a underground detention system. That is something we are seeking to do as part of the application materials that we have submitted it to the record, but now need to update based on information that we did receive from the town engineer. And again, we're hoping to have that next week. I did talk to Alexis. I will also be submitting a request for an extension of time for the public hearing to request that we give you the full time to be able to review all of the applications materials that will be submitted into the record. That would extend the hearing out to a date certain in April. So there is a little bit more time, and I apologize that this is taking so long. There is a lot of moving parts with the application itself. I do appreciate the review of the previous application. We're just trying to put things back and placate the neighbors as best as possible. And the applicant is committed to that. This is a two-pronged approach because we do also need to go back in front of the zoning commission and get their blessings. So it's looking right now that there obviously will be some amendments to the plans, and I should have those early next week after I've had a chance to meet with the applicant and his counsel.
I'll just add that one of the moving parts is that at the last meeting, the commission did make the determination that they would like to see an outside third-party consultant review the impacts to the wetlands and watercourses and the adequacy of any mitigation. As you know, I did send a letter to the applicant alerting them to this requirement. I have not yet retained an outside consultant because I have not yet received the fee for that additional review.
Good. Thank you. Is there any sort of there's no timing issues here where if it takes too long to get somebody, we run out of time and we have to do what we got?
I do have concerns about that. So thank you, Mr. Carey, for the verbal extension of time. But as you know, commissioners, you are under statutory timelines to make decisions. I would encourage the applicant to either substantially revise plans or submit that third-party fee as soon as possible, because we certainly aren't the commission is going to make a decision, and though the applicant has granted an extension of time to the fullest amount, and obviously we want to work within those statutory timeframes, we can't wait until the very end to get that third-party review rolling.
I'm sensitive to that, and I'll get an answer on that right away.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Knight?
Just two questions. One, just on the third party, I think what was helpful in the hearing was, oftentimes you get caught up looking at the plan and you're not thinking about the site in the experience of it. And so I think given the types of equipment, the noise, the lights, the disturbances, it would be very helpful just to explicitly maybe put into that report for us to understand, that expansion in motion, because it's not just like a structure, but there's a lot of activity. I think that the impact is about understanding the dynamic usage of that space, and the impact on the environment, on the wetland and water course. Because you have the, materials coming in and out, the sedimentation from those materials, the overflow, those things. And then the question is, like, if you run out of time, I mean, if hypothetically, this isn't specific to this application, if we deny it, can then somebody then just reapply? In terms of is that an option for resetting the clock?
Generally, yes. It's a little bit more complicated because this is a corrective action application. So when if you had a development application, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So the next meeting is on the 25th of February. And so it sounds like the applicant is requesting a second continuation for another 2 weeks.
So granted.
Well, I'll get you a letter tomorrow for that.
That would be great. Okay. And so February 25th, you feel is I'm just trying to judge if it should be continued to the February 25th meeting or to the March 11th. I just don't know if maybe could you just talk to, like, how do you think it's a reasonable?
I'll have the plans for you early next week.
Okay. All right. So reconvening or a continuance of the public hearing will be held at the regular commission meeting, February 25th, which is the second Tuesday of February, beginning at 7 p.m.
Okay. Good enough.
Thank you.
Yep. Thanks, Brian. And that moves us on to, actually, no. So we're done with the public hearing for that for now, but not, we're not closing it.
Right.
So
And
we're
so
just
for
moving on with our
tonight, just
agenda.
for the people attending, so for tonight, when the commission is not going to have public comment, but they will have an opportunity for public comment in the future on February 25th, when there are new plans from the applicant to review.
Groovy. Okay, then moving on with our agenda to discussion and or decision. Let's discuss, because I think it's a bit early to decide, on S24-648, which would be the unintentional land clearing portion of the 284 New Canaan Avenue project. Anybody have any thoughts, any directions we want to give Alexis for possibly drafting a resolution? Seems pretty simple to me. Short of having a magic wand. Alexis, do you need anything from us?
I think I've got it. Thank you.
Okay, and then do we don't get to discuss 499B, correct? Because the public hearing is
Correct.
still open.
Your hearing is
Okay.
still open, so you're done.
Well, then that's it. If no one has anything else they would like to add, I will move to adjourn the meeting. Can I have a second?
I'll second. I haven't seconded it.
Oh, fine. I didn't get any tonight. Okay, all in favor?
Hi.
All right. Good night, all.
Thank you.
Night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Cool.